All right, we are back with another episode of the Reclaimer Book Club. This episode, or this month, we read the book Contact Harvest, which is set at the beginning of the end of the UNSC Insurrection Wars, and at the beginning of the Human Covenant War, and it takes place during the Battle of Harvest, which is notable for being the first battle of the the Human Covenant War. Like I wanted to say Human Forerunner War, but it's like no, that's not right. Noble. Anyway, to summarize, and then as I'm summarizing the book, feel free to like add in details or like add in your
Yes.
thoughts.
I've
Uh,
returned.
all right. Anyway, oh, welcome back. Anyway, uh, well, we're live now. Forrest, just FYI.
Noted.
All right. So the book starts with everyone's favorite well at the then Staff Sergeant Avery Johnson. Uh, Obviously during the games he's Sergeant Major, but it's so we start with Johnson and the other main character, Staff Sergeant Byrne, on an operation to counter a group of insurrectionist terrorists. However, the mission goes poorly when a lady who working with the insurrection pulls out a detonator and is like holding a child hostage, and Johnson fails to take the shot, resulting in the deaths of dozens of civilians and
40
Marines.
civilians.
Yeah, 40. Thank you for. Um, yes, so the mission goes poorly. Sergeant Johnson requests to have time off. So he can visit his aunt, who when he gets to Earth, specifically Chicago, he comes to home. He comes home to find her dead in her apartment. That she passed away because she was sick. Uh,
Yeah, they left her there
yeah,
for
they
3 days.
Yes, and
So
like
what this book proves is after what 500 years, nursing homes still suck beyond belief. They suck
Oh
so
yeah, they
hard they
suck.
give Riley Weed once more money.
no, absolutely.
Yeah, that will always be a medical problem.
But
Like, yeah,
yeah. So anyway, Johnson kind of goes AWOL after that, and he gets in trouble for drinking on duty. Uh, and so he ends up getting transferred to Harvest to train a militia to like counter like a possible insurrection cell forming on Harvest, which is a very controversial thing because, well, for context, the insurrection in the Halo universe, the Halo lore, is kind of against like the idea of the Earth government kind of directly controlling all other like planets in the UNSC. Like the insurrectionists wants their worlds to be governed independently from Earth and the UNSC. So they fought a war against the UNSC to free themselves. And so yeah, so Johnson is sent to Harvest with Staff Sergeant Byrne to train the militia. Who Sergeant Byrne is not happy to see Johnson when they meet there because
They have an
Byrne.
absolutely brutal fight.
Yes, they do. They have a
yeah.
very brutal fight. Um,
Yeah.
in fact, I would say that this book is noticeably more graphic in terms of like both violence and sexuality when compared to the previous books.
Yeah, wait. Come to think of it, I have a. I'm about to go answer a question here.
All right.
Um, Do-do-do.
Alright.
Uh, okay, so this makes sense because it's one of the books that was written by Joe Stain.
Didn't he just write this one?
In 2007, yeah. Oh wait, he wrote this the same year that
Halo 3 came
3
out.
came out. So overall, I'd say this was a really good year for Halo.
Honestly, it's kind of funny because this book at times does give me like ODST vibes, like the
Yeah.
ODST the
Yeah.
game. Like I don't know, I feel like I kind of imagine like the scenery from like Chicago being very reminiscent, like maybe not like quite exactly like New Mombasa, but like I kind of
Yeah.
in
Let's get
ODST,
back
but
to
I
the summary.
I would like to
yes,
say I
thank
have
you.
a problem with this. Okay, so so for those of you who didn't know, uh, Harvest, the planet that's important to several others, had they were training a militia of
Yes.
only 100 men.
I thought it was 72.
70 to
Either
100.
way, those numbers are abysmal for covering, our planet. like
Well, we
that.
only know of we only knew of Johnson and his small team. We don't know
Plus,
if there were more on the planet.
plus, we do know that Harvest was specifically stated to be only 1/3 the size of Earth, and there was only a population of 300,000, and it was in the ass end of nowhere. So, and
Yes.
plus, it was even
Yeah,
described that the
but
civilians do not like the UNSCS, and they don't hate them. But if say a frigate came over and said, "Yeah, we're putting a garrison, 2,000 Marines here," they're gonna get pissed. So, a militia really was the only thing they could logically do.
yeah,
Given the
but
political
Yes.
if you're
structure.
gonna have a small militia, then shouldn't they be better equipped? Like they just have standard issue rifles and
That's the thing with the militia. They're not really trusted enough to use.
Yeah,
They're
Johnson
basically
stated.
conscripts, like
Yeah,
the equivalent
yeah,
of conscripts. Like you're like
Yeah.
to put this into
Johnson.
modern terminology, like to like modern equivalent, like you're not going to give something like expensive like an FN Scar to a militiaman in real life. You would probably give them something like a Kalashnikov in the modern
Or
era.
or an
Or
M16.
older M16 or M4s that were lightly used.
Yeah.
Yeah. Plus, to paraphrase Johnson, the reason why the militia was a bit unpopular was, yeah, go to a politically unstable planet and teach the locals how to use guns and give it to them. What's the worst that could happen?
yeah,
But at the same
yeah,
yeah,
but like you couldn't like spare an old, barely working. Okay, well, no, excuse me, an older. What's the word I'm looking for? Well, hell, Falcon, like
Well,
team transport vehicles.
Again, it shows the insurrectionist point. It wasn't too terrible. Oh, not insurrections, the militia. It was a very unpopular thing, and even Signy even said, look, it took months and years of negotiation, unanimous vote, and everything just to get people to say, okay, finally, you could do a militia.
yeah, because like
So they wouldn't have that much anyway.
uh-huh.
But let's get on with the story.
Yes. Anyway, so while Johnson and Byrne are training the militia, so like something notable in the background is happening is ships at Harvest are being attacked, and it's not clear like who it is, but it's later to be revealed the Covenant, specifically a Kigyar ship, led by the shipmistress. Fuck, Barry. What's the shipmistress's name?
Shahar. Yeah, Shahar.
Yeah, Shahar.
yeah.
yeah, so and then Dadab, the
Deacon.
yeah, the deacon, and then there was lighter than some, the Huragok, aka the engineer.
AKA someone who's in need of head pads for being so good.
Oh yeah, no, lighter than some is probably one of the best characters in this book. I'm gonna be honest.
Okay, no,
Yep.
I think it would
Even the
go Johnson lighter than some.
Dude, who's the other? Like, I feel like there was like some other like really good characters that were introduced in this
Fortitude.
book.
There was Tartarus, as in he had
Oh,
his moment.
And Maccabeus, his uncle.
And the Prophet of Fortitude was good as well. Or
Oh yeah,
Minister.
the Minister of Fortitude, who later becomes the
Yeah.
Prophet of. Oh,
Right.
It's
shit.
not a spoiler. It's
I
not a,
don't know.
Say it.
it's not a spoiler. As in, as soon as you know what he's dealing with, it's like, oh, it's him.
Yeah.
So that's how Truth became a prophet. Love the
Yes.
origin story. And one side note, when the Minister of Tranquility was explaining this, Truth or Fortitude went, yep, there it goes. He was just doing this as a power grab, just filling me with flattery. But then again, a chance on the Hierarch Council does not seem so bad after all.
Yeah. I forget. It was the Minister of Tranquility that became the Prophet of Regret, and then who became the Prophet of Mercy?
The
Mercy Mercy was already on the council.
Right.
Stage.
But yeah. Mhm.
No, Mercy wasn't already on the council. It was the old guy. The one who was messing with the monitor.
The monitor.
On High Charity, yeah.
The monitor. We'll get to the monitor, but for now, but like so basically, yeah, because the Kigare, like, they don't so Chihara doesn't like report like discovering Harvest and all of the relics that are the Forerunner relics that are on Harvest, because she wants to loot like these like human ships, and like wants to like steal like some of the relics for herself, because the Kigare are very
Pirates and assholes.
yes, swashbucklers, very much. Yeah, they're kind of douchebags. Anyway, but yeah, so this ends up going poorly, because a character that was introduced earlier, Jalan,
Jillian Signy. That's how I believe you pronounce her name. So Signy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I see. Yeah. Anyway, so she just was like a seemingly just a standard like politician, but it turns out she is actually working with the Office of Naval Intelligence, and the real reason why Johnson has been sent to Harvest is to partially, like, one, yes, to train the militia, but also to investigate this mysterious alien threat that keeps hijacking just civilian ships.
Yeah.
So Johnson and Byrne managed to successfully catch the Kigare ship in the act of like looting a ship, and they blow up the Kigare ship, killing everybody but Dadab and Lighter Than Some, who managed to make it through to escape via escape pod, which that escape pod ends up being captured, well, discovered and rescued by chieftain of currently chieftain of the Brutes, Maccabeus, and his nephew Tartarus. So they so yeah, what happens though is also, I forget, is this shit kind of, anyway, so yeah, they get rescued, but like obviously Dadab doesn't want like Tartarus and Maccabeus to find out that he's been involved with a heresy, because like obviously like the Kigare lied about how many relics they found, and
Oh, but there is one little thing about that. When the ship mistress was going to the bridge to escape from Johnson, she asked, "All right, you filthy grunt, where are?" and found out on the computers. Oh, by the way, I transmitted everything to the prophets. You're welcome. Yes, well,
yeah,
one
she was like,
act
that
of ratting.
bastard.
That
I
one,
forgot about
the
You
deacon's
rat
one
motherfucker.
moment of glory was just screwing over the jackal.
Given how much they treated
Yeah,
him like shit, both figuratively and literally, he deserved. Well, she deserved it.
Yeah.
I would also like to say, Judge Stain, I did not need that insight on jackal mating rituals.
Yep.
I forgot
Horny.
about that. Yeah, like I said, okay, this book is just really fucking horny.
It's not insanely horny to like the point where it might as well be
Oh,
R34,
dude, you haven't
but
gotten
more...
to the
know,
final
I
scene
know.
of the book. Just
I
wait.
know.
Yes, I would like to say that this book ends with a few explosive climaxes.
You could say that again. Oh, but speaking of that, you know it's funny because Jalon, like at first, like I kind of imagined her like being like looking like in her 30s, but when she was like in the dress at the party, I was like, oh, she's supposed to be sexy. Fuck. Then I had to kind of redraw what she looked like in my head to kind of correct that.
Her initial appearance, you think she's in her 30s, but when you find out that she's an Oni Spook, it's like, oh, she could have just hit the fact.
Like no, when she's like no, before like I found out she's an Oni Spook. It was been like when she was dancing with Johnson at the big the celebration.
Got a solstice celebration.
Yeah.
To be fair, this is 500 years in the future. She could be in her 30s still.
Well, still, I meant that. I meant that like I was imagining her just being like a regular, like kind of like a non attractive woman. And there's like, oh, she's supposed to be attractive. Shit, and I was like, I'm kind of glad I did have to.
Well, they are Oni agents, and Halo shows that Oni agents aren't too bad looking all the time. Let's be real.
But anyway, back to the story. So yes,
Yeah.
So Johnson ends up going back to training the militia. Then he's training them to fight the aliens, but he can't really tell them about the aliens, the Covenant.
Yeah.
So, however, what ends up happening is the Jirohane, the brutes, and the humans at Harvest do end up having a kind of like peace
parlay.
like, yeah at Harvest. Then so like it kind of ends up like kind of going poorly, which I mean like they didn't really
Yeah.
you could argue it was due to miscommunications. However, around this time, it's also revealed, back on High Charity, that the Minister of Fortitude and the one,
Tranquility.
yeah, well, not Tranquility, but the other guy that was fucking with the monitor, I can't remember what he was called.
The theologist? I mean, the philologist?
The philologist, yes, him, yeah. The guy who
no,
becomes the Prophet of Mercy. But anyway, they're fucking around with the monitor, which they call the Oracle, and they get it turned on, which the monitors in Halo, yeah, it's like they're the floaty ball Forerunner AI
Mendicant
constructs.
Fucking bias.
Yes, anyway, so like when it gets activated, it's like, ah, yes, you found the Reclaimers. I must serve them at once. And so, like, this kind of, they're like, oh, so, okay, to explain the Covenant religion, they believe that, the Forerunners, like, these ancient aliens, are gods. And they believe this, like, well, because their technology was so advanced, and because they just kind of mysteriously disappeared, and so they think they went on a great journey to ascend to godhood, to achieve salvation, and so they worship that, and they like seek to achieve salvation themselves. But once they find that, oh shit, this monitor like thinks that these Reclaimers, these humans, are its masters, like that must mean that not all the forerunners, like that some of the forerunners like were left behind in the great journey, and so therefore our religion is false and would fall apart. But then
Not
Fortitude is like, nah, this is clearly heresy, and then he turns the monitor off.
The irony, the ultimate irony is that he literally shut off one of the most powerful Forerunner constructs in existence.
Yeah.
Because
uh,
they don't say it in the book, but it's revealed in others. That was Mendicant bias.
Bias.
Mendicant bias.
Biggest asshole in the entire Halo series.
The biggest.
If you ever
Second,
wonder,
actually,
hold-
the
if you
second
ever
biggest
wonder
asshole.
why Chief got onto the key ship rather easily, thank Mendicant bias for being an asshole to the prophets.
But anyway,
okay,
so
I would like to say that their thinking behind this is wrong. Like, alright, so just because just because you find these people, these reclaimers, all this means is our gods ascended because they were pure. These people are degenerates.
well, but
Or
like,
they come from bad stock.
but yeah, but like to them, like the humans are basically like primitive, like a savage like race.
Filthy
So-
monkeys.
Yeah, they're basically yeah, they see us as dumb monkeys. But anyway, back to the whole point. So they because in order to like hide this, the Minister of Fortitude declares these reclaimers as heretics and like that they must be purged. So
To put it short,
like,
truth becomes the Pope and issues a holy war against humanity.
yes,
It-
well,
Yes, he
they-
not
declares jihad.
yes, but not before like, okay, after like after the parlay goes poorly at Harvest, the Jirahane ship, which like launches an attack against its humanity, which wipes out a huge part of the population. I don't know, a lot happens, but like in this part, trying to remember. So
Okay, after a grunt guts a guy who startled them, uh, the fighting kicks off. Alright, Burns and Johnson's commit, captain, gets one of his arms. Oh, gets his prosthetic arm ripped
oh
off.
yeah, what's his name? Captain
Ponder.
Ponder.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yeah.
dude. What that guy was I forgot to mention him in this whole part of the
Badass.
story, but like, see, this is why I say like Courier's much better at summarizing, because like again he would remember Ponder like at the beginning of the summary, but now I have to introduce him like halfway through. But yeah, no, Ponder was like, yeah, he was the
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Something weird. Something I found weird is, since when do brutes have energy shields?
Um,
Hmm.
some of them had energy shields in Halo 3 ODST. Some of them had energy
and
shields in
Reach.
Halo Reach.
Yeah, I can confirm this.
I kind of imagine like Maccabeus's armor being like a hybrid of like the Halo 3 like Captain Major armor, and then the Halo Reach like Chieftain armor, kind of like.
Hmm.
That's kind of why I thought like, oh, because he was wearing gold armor, so that kind of made me think of the Captain Major armor from Halo 3. But then but he has like
Or
energy
the,
shields, kind of like the Chieftain armor.
or he's based off of a lower chieftain armor that would be seen in Reach.
Yeah.
What's given the time frame for the book would make sense.
Hmm.
Yeah. Oh, and I would also like to say, concerning on the well, first wheel fight scene between Boots and humans. For primitive aliens, they managed to down one of your they managed to down one of your guys.
Oh, that reminds me. One of the yes, that speaking of the brutes though, Lighter Than Some, I believe like he does this because during the what is it? During
The raid
the
on Hank's ship.
yeah, that they because they find the Jotun like prototype, which I believe Lighter Than Some like uses to reverse engineer that to create the chopper. Well, what we now know is the chopper, but like obviously, but this is it's just like at the time it's kind of just like
Farming equipment.
it's kind of yes, but yeah, to think like that the brute chopper is just a very expensive lawnmower is kind of funny.
I like
Well,
that.
if you look at it, it doesn't. It's rather slow for a brute, for something the brutes would use to ram other things.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but I felt like in the book, uh, they were actually quite fast. Like in the latter part when we actually see them.
Because we don't see it. I don't think they had the weapons strapped to them. I think they were just the
They
frames
had the
being used.
spikers. They had the spiker strap. They crudely welded onto them.
They were infantry spikers. They weren't the larger ones you see on the later variants.
They, although I thought that the later variants had like the brute shot rounds, not the spikers.
No, they were large spikers. It just had an impact.
Huh.
It had the concussive force like the spiker. Or not the spiker, the
Brute
brute
shot.
shot. My brain is
But yeah, they were just infantry spikers slapped slapdash onto the machine.
oh yeah, during the fight, Maccabeus is ran by a warthog, so he gets his leg shattered.
For like a day.
Ouch.
Yeah, like
And considering what brutes had to live on with their homeworld, and it's on Harvest, which is lower gravity than Earth. That's impressive.
yeah.
Yeah, no, I mean, so I think within the span of like about maybe 1 to 2 days, he's almost back to normal.
Yeah. Dude, fuck, I can't remember like okay, so after the fight between after the fight but the initial fight between the humans and the brutes, like Tartarus and Maccabeus get into a fight. I don't remember exactly what over, but basically Tartarus like challenges Maccabeus's leadership. Yes. So which is a brute tradition of like to like in order to become chieftain, you have to like defeat you have to like fight the current chieftain to the death.
Okay, no, but I can explain it much simpler than you.
Okay.
2 shall enter, 1 shall leave. 2 shall enter, 1 shall leave. 2. Come on,
Yep.
everyone with me. 2 shall
Two
enter,
shall enter, one shall leave.
leave. 2 shall
Maccabeus,
enter.
you're a terrible leader. You suck. 1v1 me, bro. Okay.
Yes. Anyway, so Tartarus ends up winning. Obviously, because we see him in Halo 2. So Tartarus becomes chieftain of the brutes. So anyway, so then like okay, so then Lighter Than Some leads the brutes like to like said like Lighter Than Some says he finds a Forerunner artifact and he's leading the brutes to this Forerunner artifact. However, this is not actually a Forerunner artifact and he's leading the brutes into a trap. Which then like in order to get so the militia, Johnson the militia is militiamen lead launch an assault on the orbital platform like so that like
Tiara.
they can retake the tiara, so that they can I forgot. So that's another thing. Like I forgot to mention the tiara, so I have to like describe it first. Like I know I'm not I'm not very good at this. Clearly, I suck.
Career.
It's
No, we don't need him. I just not good at it. I just need to
it's
be better at
an
paying attention.
orbital platform for getting and receiving supplies from other planets, which brings into question why some planets use elevators.
Because the Tiara is an orbital elevator system.
Oh, Snizer, I apologize for
It's
that
the
one.
command and control supply station that controls everything going in and
Yes.
out of Harvest and ships and everything. And for a planet
Uh,
as logistically important, the Tiara is mandatory.
Yes. Anyway, so but yes, so the militia they board the tiara. So they specifically they send like a squad of shuttles up into orbit, which two of them are loaded with explosives, which is how they're able to like launch a sneak attack by blasting a hole into the tiara and just like wiping out like I think like two squads of grunts.
No, half the grunts, like half of the Ungor contingent are dead within the first few minutes.
Yeah, but
They're just grunts,
yeah.
so what would you expect?
Yeah, but yeah, like massive like Covenant casualties. So then what happens though is the oh shit. Okay. Okay. So yeah, the UNSC or not UNSC, the militia launches their sneak attack, which is able to like cause like which they're able to capture the Tiara, which lighter than some at the same time is also helping the AI Sif, who was mentioned earlier in the book. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which then Tartarus finds out about this, and he has the Yamei like kill lighter than
Drones.
some. Yes, the
Yeah.
drones. Which
That was a sad moment.
yeah, dude, that
Yeah.
was the yes.
Also, I would like to say after reading this book, I now enjoy killing Tartarus more.
Yep.
Also, something that's like mentioned in passing is what happened to the Nordic states?
Oh, the book says that most places on Earth just joined the UN and just became like territories. Some people claim themselves American, but as humanity conquered the stars, more people saw like, hey, I'm a Terran, I'm from Earth, versus hey, I'm from Finland or Sweden. That's just how it happened. Those places still exist and people are still prideful, but you can see people more celebrating Terra Day or Earth Day more than, being from Kansas.
Okay,
Yeah.
does anyone actually celebrate being from Kansas? I mean, let's be real here.
No.
Before we talk about someone celebrating being from Kansas in 2020 in 25, let's talk about someone celebrating being from Kansas in 2022.
But yes, so human yes, anyway, so yeah, even though like even though Harvest suffered massive human casualties, they do like Johnson, the militia, and some civilians do manage to escape.
Like Spartan Shane, who was later killed in Ghost of Onyx.
Yeah. Anyway. So yes.
Yes.
Which as they make their escape, Johnson and Jalon get into some naughty business. But meanwhile that's
Yes.
happening. So meanwhile that's happening, as we mentioned earlier, the Minister of Fortitude becomes the Prophet of Truth. The the minister of tranquility becomes the prophet of regret, and the minister of
Yeah.
the fuck. What was his
I'll check it for you. No
what was his
worries.
job again?
Philologist. The
The
philologist.
philologist,
or,
yes,
you
the
know,
philologist
yeah,
becomes the why do I yeah, the philologist becomes the prophet of mercy, and they declare this like as the end of the age of doubt. And they
39
declare
page of doubt.
yes, and then they declare this the age of reclamation, and they declare war on they declare their religious genocide on humanity, and that is the end of the book.
Okay, something that I'd like to bring up is the fact of was I the only one who felt like the AI, especially Sith, was a bit too free thinking
I didn't
and
mind it.
emotional? No, okay. I mean, like, think about this. She felt uncomfortable.
Well, that was I
multiple
think that was the point of her character, though. I think like the point was like that she was trying to be very stoic, but she was like slowly kind of losing control of her emotions.
Especially when you have our nice guy utter AI named Mac constantly flirting with you.
I always thought he was funny. It's like, dude, you're both like artificial intelligence. Like, how the fuck are you supposed to shag each other? Like, once again, though, I
I've never
feel like
seen hentai.
again though, I feel like the whole the
Partner,
AI
that's
flirty
how-
thing just adds on to the horniness of this book, which is like.
To be fair, have you seen two chatbots talk to each other?
Like, that sounds hilarious.
That was
it makes the whole AI rebellion seem inevitable.
Well, but that's one of the things that's established in Halo lore of smart AIs is that they eventually go rampant, which is
Yep,
why they
yeah.
have to be decommissioned.
Yeah, okay. How old was Seth though?
I don't
Close to
remember.
rampancy. 6,
Yeah.
5 years, so close to rampancy.
Yeah.
Plus, Mac was on the verge of rampancy too.
Yeah,
it's
also because
stated.
Mac has the two personalities. He's both Mac and he's also Loki, which
Yeah,
probably doesn't help.
Mac lasts longer because both personalities actually check and balance each other. While one's active, the other is a subconscious and helps clean up the data and maintain the coherent neural net.
Wouldn't you call that semi schizophrenia?
Not well. If it were two personalities active simultaneously, yeah.
So the bullshit of there's a demon inside my head.
Yeah. But in the case of Mac and Loki, it's more of when one is active, the other's working as a buffer to make sure it doesn't go rampant.
Mhm.
Yeah. Something else I found interesting was the fact that you had Mac take control of the dusters and use them as Minecraft drones. And they
Whatever
were
works,
actually
works.
able to take out a spirit, which
Spirits don't have shields, so neither do most Phantom variants.
okay, so now this brings up the question of why were Minecraft drones used a lot more during the war?
They probably were, but the Jotun types are much heavier. So and probably fast enough if they're the Duster types.
Barry, your thing is echoing.
It's not on my end.
Oh, no, you fixed it.
Oh, okay, I'm good then.
Okay. But I think it's because there's not as many different. Sorry, I'm just trying to fix my mic, but it's not that Yeah, the Jotuns are pretty heavy duty equipment.
Yeah.
Dude, like I think like one of the land Jotuns, like they said it had like a 3,000 horsepower engine, and just my brain is just like, how is that possible? I know it's 500, I know it's the year 2525, but
Science fiction,
still,
buddy. That's how.
I know, but the thing that like fucking supercars and like actual modern race cars have half of that, like now. That seems oh wait, why is who's echoing on my? Why do I hear my voice
It's
echoing?
force. It's
Oh,
force.
It can't be me. I have my headphones plugged in, no speakers.
Yeah, I have headphones and
That's strange.
okay. Anyway, but yeah, back to is there any other thing you guys want to mention about the book that I missed?
Quite a lot. I do really enjoy this book for how much world building and establishing and fleshing out it did with the stories. We learned a lot more about the Covenant. I like the POV chapter in High Charity where we're introduced to Fortitude. I very much like the description of Harvest, and it's, I don't know why it makes it, I wouldn't say sad, but more, these people are going to die soon. It very much establishes the insurrection war, so overall, and the sad part is, you have Johnson in the games, happy, badass, and then you have Johnson in this book where it just shows the saddest.
Oh, dude, it's literally like
wait,
the Mr. Incredible meme. Like,
yeah,
yes,
do it right,
but okay.
make me
I
proud.
think what happened was the the uh okay, how do I want to put this? The uh like the refreshment given to him from Insigny seems to have like okay, because everyone knows his like awesome mustache, right? He didn't
I'm
have
right.
before the climax, before the multiple climaxes of the book. Never did we hear anything about that. But right after the first climax, now he has a mustache.
Well, if anyone was gonna get laid and become a man, it had to be Johnson. And can we really blame him?
Oh
He
no.
deserved it.
To be fair, this is also the book which introduced Sergeant Johnson's favorite punching bag, Jenkins.
Yep,
Jenkins.
poor old Wallace
Poor
Jenkins. It's,
Which,
hey,
yeah,
Mr. Ponders? Yes. Can I be a Marine in the future? Yeah, that's a good choice.
Let's be real here. If the start of every character who dies in science fiction who is named Jenkins, welcome to Halo Combat Evolved.
Also, because I find it extremely hilarious, the reason why I believe Regret chose his new name to be Regret is because he regrets ever signing up for this, mainly because of the description
oh
we get.
yeah, he had an affair.
No, he didn't have an affair. He got cooked. Oh, okay. He has to. Alright, so part of the agreement that allowed the three of the prophets that we know from the games to become prophets is for Regret to agree to claim another Sensayum's children as his own, and the woman who is the mother is apparently not too attractive. It sounded like super BBW with a low IQ.
So, for Regret. So, Mr. Regret, we thank you on your promotion, but you'll have to pay child support for your ex's children, claim their custody, and you'll have to live with her for the rest of your life.
Yeah,
He
like
had he had to take a political marriage. No wonder he was insane by the third game.
No, that
Second.
was no, the one who was insane was whatchamacallem.
Oh, true.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's because he was infected with the. He was infected with the flood.
Yeah, in the end, with Gravemind's fucking his mind over.
Yeah. I just overall found the Senshayum to be funny, like how because of how their bodies are, they have to ride in those like hover chairs, and because they because like the younger ones aren't as powerful, you have to have like 20 of them, like just gunning it, which is just hilarious to think about.
Yep. They even have a very slow fertility season. So yeah, when they were finally able to mate for the first time in 20 years, a whole massive festival is held. So yes, they have a horny parade.
Well,
And
Hooray,
it's also
hooray,
shown
it's
that they
horny
take
day, hooray,
recreational
hooray,
drugs.
horny
So
day.
can you really
Well, like-
blame them?
well, in terms of sci-fi, as in that kind of world building is appreciated. Just the wording could have been better.
Yeah, I feel like there's
Uh,
parts of this book like you can kind of tell like that Joe Staten is not an author.
or like he was just like he wrote those chapters on a lonely night.
It's not as bad as some of the books that believe me, it's tame compared to some of the stuff that you'll find in Warhammer books.
Damn. What about the memes? You know, the book club memes, Noble?
Oh yes, I posted a few.
Let's do this.
Share screen. Tab.
I love the
Alright,
second to last one.
Got. Who are you? John. John who? John Johnson. That's fine.
To be fair,
Sucking 100.
Keith would take that name, and he's
He would.
earned it.
Yep.
He earned it.
Covenant. Yeah. The Covenant. Humanity exists. The Covenant. And I took it personally.
No, humanity exists, the Covenant, and I took that personally.
I like this one. This one's a little bit hard to read. Harvest pre-glassing. Do you have a moment to hear about our holy Lord and Saviors, the Forerunners?
Oh, thank you. I don't care about your made-up religion. And thus the Holy War was launched.
Yeah, unfortunately, we couldn't find that many good ones.
Oh, well.
So,
Yeah,
what's
it's
the next
unfortunate.
Cole Protocol, I believe.
Yes.
Yes. This one goes into. This one we actually get to see Captain
I think Vice Admiral Cole.
Yep.
Who is very Oh hey, it's okay, Bear Thing Show.
Is he a bear?
Oh,
bear show?
Hey, Austin, what did you think of the book? Since you're in the chat. I'll wait for his response. But yes, now I guess like in order I guess we should rate the book on what we thought of it. So I'll go first. You know, I think even though for me, I feel like there are parts of it that I'm not just when I say it feels like that it's obvious that Joe Staten is not an author. I don't mean just the horny bits. I mean just in general. There are points in the book where I feel yeah, this feels very amateurish and very kind of unnecessary. And
yeah, you could
I
have
feel
shaved
I feel like some stuff could have been set up better. Also, I feel like I had a hard time remembering the different militiamen that weren't Jenkins.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, there was a UNSC Navy guy who I'm pretty sure he's in the book from the I don't remember his name. I'm pretty sure he's in the beginning of the book and the end of the book, but I can't remember if he was
The recruiter.
Yeah, the recruiter guy. I can't remember. Like I don't even remember his name. So I'm not sure if the guy that was in the second half of the book was the same guy or not because I don't remember him very well.
Yeah, that's somewhat of an issue when it comes to the characters in this one.
Yeah, where like they're kind of forgettable and like yeah. And again, I feel like that's like a very like amateurish mistake of like you have like like of having like characters that you because I feel like I think he was like the I think he was a petty officer. But yeah, the petty officer guy, he shows up in the beginning of the book to recruit Johnson. He kind of fucks off in the middle of the book, and I think he comes back, but I like as the medic, but I don't remember.
No, that was no. Are you talking about Healy being the medic?
Oh yeah, Healy, that's right. I thought Healy was the petty
No.
officer. No, that's a
Uh,
different character.
yeah, different character.
Oh, see, again, my brain is like thought I was like, wait, is that the same character or is that a different
Nope,
character again?
different.
Okay, yeah, Healy, yeah, that's the medic. My bad,
Yeah.
my mistake.
Okay.
I don't remember.
Look.
Then what's the petty officer guy's name?
Just call him recruiter. Petty officer recruiter.
I'm just gonna keep calling him the petty officer. Oh, uh, let's see. As good or better than Reach. I like the love scene. Uh, that's a good answer. I I know, like as I'm struggling to, I know I'm struggling to remember some of the characters, but I think this book is good. Like, I'm gonna be honest. I might be a little bit biased because I like the scenes about the Covenant. I don't give a shit about the scenes with the humanity. I just want to read more about the politics of the Covenant and more about the like whatever like because the Covenant are interesting. It's because it's not about just about the war with humanity. It's always like the internal affairs that are going on with the Covenant and the like petty squabbles and all this shit and like the hierarchy and the caste system. It makes for such interesting literature to read about, and then you're just like, oh, for fuck's sake, we have to go back to the normal, boring humans again. Like
I found both sides to be entertaining, but I'll wait for my part.
Yeah, both
I think that's a good segue to talk. Hear your thoughts on the book, Forrest.
All right. Overall, I was quite pleased with it. It expanded on the lore more, fleshed out Johnson to a lot more, made us realize what things were like before the Human Covenant War, showed the squabbles within the Covenant, and overall, I was a fan of it. Granted, some details were a bit much, but I thought, hey, it's supposed to flesh out the universe. This is what it's supposed to do. So overall, I was satisfied with the book. I'm happy with it.
All right, Barry, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, some of the same, as in they could have cut some of the other scenes and to flesh out more of the militia out. But other than that, the book was good.
Yeah. And again, I can't remember half the militia guys. I know there were like other characters in the militia, but I can't remember them. But Tao, what were your thoughts?
I feel like it's a very solid book. It gives you the origin stories of, I want to say, at least two of the most important Covenant leaders and one of the best Marines to ever lace up a pair of boots. And overall, you get the feeling like the door has been opened on a hectic conflict that will determine the fate of multiple species and the future of the galaxy in and of itself. So I'd say yes, this is at least a solid 8.5 to 9.
Okay, so all right, now, Tao, of the books that we've read so far, what would you rate these books in terms of least favorite to favorite?
Okay. So I would say uh the favorite would have to be this one. Followed by the flood, and then the fall of Reach. Give me a
Oh,
second.
did you miss out on Ghost of Onyx and First Strike?
Yes.
Okay, that's okay. Dude, I Ghost of Onyx was okay, but First Strike, you should go back and reread First Strike when you get the chance.
Ghost of Onyx I
Uh,
found to be an amazing story as well.
I mean, I know. I feel like I'm just probably a sucker. I really enjoyed Harvest is way better than Flood. Yeah, I Ninja, I know that you didn't like the Flood, and yeah, I'm sorry the one stream that we had you on for the book club that the First Strike and Onyx are better than Harvest. I would say that so I'm gonna say that Harvest is now okay. So my rating for the books would be yeah, I would say that the Flood is the worst. I'm gonna put Ghost of Onyx next. Not to say it's bad, I just didn't care for that one as much.
Hmm.
I felt like that one was a little bit more messy, like it had a little bit more messy storytelling. And it felt like it felt like a less like the narrative was less coherent than than the other books. But that would just be a personal preference. But and then I would put Fall of Reach, then Harvest, then First Strike. First Strike, I would say, best book so far. I fucking love that book.
yeah.
Anyway,
Yeah.
now Forrest, how would you rate these books?
Okay. It would be The Flood at the bottom. Not I very much enjoyed it. Then Contact Harvest. Then this is where it gets hard for me. I just put Fall of Reach, Ghost of Onyx, and First Strike all in the same category. I enjoyed
Alright.
those very much.
All right, Barry, what's your rating?
I would rate it Flood. Yeah, pretty much the same as Forest. Though with my previous statement, First Contact and First Strike, First Strike, Fall of Reach, and are somewhat in the contested for first place, though.
Okay,
And,
let's see.
Onyx
So Bear, Ninja, aka the Bear Thing Show, says his rating is First Strike, Onyx, Reach, Harvest, and Flood. And he asked, did I miss anything? And he said, if not, then that's my his rating for best to worst in order. Yeah, corrected that. Let's see. First Strike, or sorry, Reach, Flood, First Strike, Onyx, Harvest. No, you didn't miss any. I'd say that's pretty close to. I think that's a pretty good rate. I definitely can understand why you would say that Harvest is not as good as the other books, because like I mentioned earlier, it does kind of like shout that Joe Staten is not an author, and that like there are things that are kind of amateurish. I will say that I enjoyed Harvest. I don't know. So like, okay, my reason I put I think the reason I put like Harvest above Fall of Reach is probably entirely like personal reasons, because I feel like Fall of Reach, even though it's a really good story and it's a solid narrative. Actually, now that I think about it, I might have to put Reach above Harvest, because I really liked Captain Keyes in Fall of Reach. I kind of forgot about that.
Who doesn't love Captain Keyes?
Captain Keyes is the best. Captain Keyes might be one of the best characters in the Halo books.
Period. He's just one of those characters. You just can't hate Captain Keyes. You
No.
just can't hate him.
Yeah, the case with the in the flood, like he had all the Keys moments were badass.
Oh yeah, I love the part where like Keys is just a fucking Sigma male and just like
Let's see the meme again.
oh that one me. No, I was referring to the scene where he just like fucking ditches that one
Oh,
lieutenant
that one.
because she wants to surrender
Surrender
to the Covenant. I mean, it ended up backfiring horribly. But
Yeah.
That traitor got her comeuppance anyway.
Um,
Like, I'm sorry, Captain. I didn't know they were gonna play. And then the elite just looks at the pistol and goes, "Ballistics. How primitive."
Yeah, but the moment where Keys shot the stealth elite.
oh yeah, that part was fucking badass as well. Yes. Anyway, let me. Oh, you sent it in the
Yeah,
book club memes again. I was just about to pull it up. All right.
it's just that good.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. It's this one. Give us your memories. This fucking soy jack. Keys, Jacob, Captain, service number 01928 1992 JK. Yeah. Let's see.
That's about the only one I was able to find.
Okay. Oh, exactly, Noble. Reach is better than because Keys and Halsey's story are. You know what? I'm beginning to think that like you just like these books whenever there's like horny bits in them. Cause we know
the
who
power
we
of Bonnie compels you.
Cause Miranda Keys is Halsey's daughter.
Technically, the niece of Cortana, if you go by her origin.
Oh dear.
Yeah,
but,
the fun things you learn.
But yeah, back to getting back on topic. The reason I put Contact Harvest above Ghost of Onyx is like because I feel like this story, like Harvest, was a bit of a more cohesive narrative than like Ghost of Onyx, because I can't really say like what exactly like the plot of Ghost of Onyx was. It's kind of like the Flood, where it feels like I think there's an ongoing story, but like there's like the actual plot or like main plot of the story is a little bit harder to pin down. I feel like it's a little bit easier in Ghost of Onyx because it's like in Ghost of Onyx it's like Forerunner artifact is acting weird and we need to stop it. But in order to get to that part, it takes so long and it has to build up so much backstory. Like I feel like that like is a little bit frustrating. So that's why I kind of rate that book a little bit lower than other people probably do. Don't get me. I mean, I fucking love Kurt. I feel like Kurt is just like a really great character. It's funny. I feel like I almost like also judge these books like solely by how much I like the one character that I like in the book that's like badass. Like, and I feel like for Ghost of Onyx, it's Kurt. I feel like for this book for Contact Harvest, the I think it goes to two characters. I think it goes to Johnson and Lighter Than Some. Fuck, both of those characters fucking amazing.
Yeah.
Which and then so for First Strike, I feel like the badass character was fuck, I'm trying to remember what the Vice Admiral's name. Yeah, Vice Admiral Whitcomb. Yeah, like that. I feel like he was like the badass character of that book. And then for Flood and Fall of Reach, it's Captain Keyes.
Yeah.
It's funny though. The badass character of the book is never Chief though for some reason. like,
Chief is still badass in these books.
well,
Let's
yeah,
not-
Chief is like an actual badass, but like the character that you like want to root for in these books is never necessarily Chief. It's always like,
the standout characters.
yeah, because Chief is always meant to be like a kind of blank slate. He's meant to be like a kind of like, well, in the games at least, he's meant to be like a kind of like self-insert type, without like, he's given very vague characterizations so you can kind of imagine yourself as Chief, and that you're the like as the player, as you play through the game, that you kind of are experiencing these events through the eyes of Chief, and that's why like Chief doesn't talk back to Cortana when she talks to Chief, because she's actually talking to the player. Which is something that pissed me off about Halo Infinite, that Chief was like talking way too much during gameplay, and it felt like very unnatural.
Yeah.
But back away from the games and back to the books. Yeah, no, I think that this book was, I liked it.
Indeed. Well, I must be off now. Have a lovely time, everyone.
All right,
Okay.
it was nice having you here.
Indeed.
Anyway, yeah. So we'll see you guys next time.
Yeah.
Thank you for watching.